Good morning. I'm Anna Marie, and it's time again for Focus. I have a couple of special guests in this morning. We're going to start with Derrick Mason, a former Titans player and the co-chair of the American Cancer Society's Real Men Wear Pink. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, so if you will, tell people a little about yourself.
You know, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I am the middle child of 7, so whatever that means.
What do you think it means, the middle child?
It means we never get heard.
Oh!
Because there's noise on both sides, so the middle child never gets heard.
I thought it meant that for a while that you were the baby.
Yeah, I was.
And then that went away.
Uh-huh.
And then you were the big brother, and you got to be the boss for a while.
Yeah, for a very short period.
All right. Okay.
So to Michigan State, graduated in 1997, moved here in Nashville in 97. Was married to my then wife, Marcy. We were married for 15 years. We had been dating 2 years prior to that, so total 17 years at one point. We have 2 beautiful children, Bailey, who's a senior in college, and my son, Derrick, the second. He's a freshman in college also.
Nice.
So I lived here for 8 years, here in Nashville for 8 years. Then moved away in 2004, moved back again here to stay in 2010. We just knew that Nashville would be a place that we could call home.
Did you enjoy being a Titans player?
I really did.
That seems like that would enhance your experience because people really revere the Titans. It seems like you walk into a place that everybody's like, don't you hear the whispers? Like, like that, you know?
Yeah, it was an opportunity for all of us to essentially grow up in the city together.
Really?
Yes, because we had a whole team, a whole organization that was moving from Houston.
And now you're involved with the American Cancer Society.
Yes.
And what is the campaign?
The campaign is the Real Men Wear Pink campaign. And Lindsay Langley asked me to be a part of it because she knew I've been knowing Lindsay for 2-3 years now. It's probably been longer than that. But she knew my story about my mom.
Is she with the American Cancer Society?
Yes, she is. She knew about my story.
Okay,
about my mom passing away.
So
my mom
let's hear it.
Was diagnosed with breast cancer early 2000s. And it was a rough time because not only was my mom diagnosed with breast cancer, shortly after that, my younger sister passed away. So it was a rough time for my parents. And my mom battled, and my mom never complained. Never complained. I'm not saying she didn't have bad days, but she didn't complain. She was a fighter. That's how I knew my mom. That's how everybody in the family knew my mom, as a fighter.
You think you got some of that from her? Oh
yeah, a lot of it from her. And ultimately, it metastasized and went from her breast to other spots in her body, and ultimately, in 2014, it got into her brain, and it was diagnosed or discovered sort of, maybe a little bit too late. But, my mom was walking down the stairs and fell, and my dad had to take her to the hospital, and she never came back home. So she stayed in the hospital for almost a month, 2 weeks just in a hospital bed. And I think the last couple of days, or 3 weeks in the hospital bed, and the last couple of days in hospice. We all got a chance to see her. We all got a chance to just be around her, the family, my siblings, obviously my dad too. And then my mom passed away in 2014.
How old were you when she was diagnosed? And do you remember that?
Man, I was in my early 30s when my mom got diagnosed.
Where were you and what were you doing?
I was in Baltimore at the time. I was in Baltimore at the time when my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And she had beat it. It was, okay, yeah, you have it. And, we all, just like any other family does, that moment of a shock and grief for a moment. But then it's, okay, we're going to fight it. You're going to beat it. Be no problem. And, with the breast cancer, she did. And it went into remission. And, she spent, months without chemo or anything else, but then it showed up somewhere else. So she had to go through the chemo again. And then it went back into remission. And then the final time it ended up in her brain. So I wish I was there more with her. But my mom would call every day. She would call me literally every day.
Really?
And sometimes, and I look back on it now, and it's like sometimes when your mom calls, it's like I get to her. I get it later. And we all do it. And you look back and say, man, maybe I should have answered one of those phone calls or 3 of those phone calls. Mm-hmm. Maybe I would have had more time with her. But, my mom, like I said, my mom would call me every day. It didn't matter. Call me every day, leave a message if I didn't answer.
What'd she say?
She just how I'm doing. She didn't, it was just call and say, hey, they call me Rick, short for Derrick. Hey, Rick, how you doing? It's your mom. Call and tell you I love you and see what's going on with the grandkids and you. And that's it. It was, and if we talked, obviously we would talk about more than just that. Yeah. But she would leave messages, and that's what it would be every time. Or she would tell me something about my brothers or sisters, so it didn't matter.
Just think of that. So she was going through all of that, and she still wanted to reach out and support you and support the family and to be there for you guys.
My mom, when I moved here to Nashville, I ended up getting a divorce, and my ex-wife and I are still really good friends to this day.
Good. I like that.
She's a wonderful woman.
That says a lot about you guys.
Yes. What we do for our children, and our relationship is a really good one. So when my mom noticed I was by myself now, and I can cook. I really can. I've sat in the kitchen many of hours with my mom just watching her cook. We all did. So I know how to cook. My mom,
I just fell in love a little bit.
But my mom would come, every Thanksgiving and cook. And, that was her thing. She, I'm not going to let you go without having a Thanksgiving meal. That, I really appreciate it. My brothers and sisters probably didn't like it because if they wanted to eat, they had to drive to my house, hundreds of miles away, which they did.
I would have
to. Exactly. But, she was always there, ready to cook on Thanksgiving. So that's some of the stuff I do miss. Subsequent Thanksgivings after that, they just haven't been the same because you're always looking for your mom to cook or call or do whatever. And, the first Thanksgiving was because it was right after her passing. Oh. And the first holiday was Thanksgiving, big holiday, family holiday was Thanksgiving. And, the family came to my house and, my sister and I cooked and my dad helped some, but he was just relaxing. But it was just that first Thanksgiving was tough, I think, for everybody. So that's truly my why because I know how much it hurt our family. I saw what my dad went through. My dad is, he's a provider. I'm going to show you my love by providing for y'all. I'm going to be a disciplinarian. I'm going to be someone that's there, a role model. But my dad didn't show. He wasn't like the dad that showed a lot of feelings.
He didn't call you every day and say, I love you, man.
Absolutely. He does it now. He and I talk, and he does it now. But that was the first time when my sister passed and then my mom passed. That was the first time I saw him break down. So I know how devastating it can be, even to the strongest of people, when something like that infiltrates your family and just messes up the whole dynamics. Even if you fight it and you get through it and you battle and you get through it, it still does something to the family. Either it's going to bring them closer together or, ultimately it's going to, have the family mourn at the end. But, whatever I can do, whatever Rashed can do and the people over at ACS or those men that are choosing to be a part of this Real Men campaign, anything we can do so the families don't have to go through what we went through.
If you're just joining us, I'm Anna Marie, and this is Focus, and we're talking today about the Real Men Wear Pink campaign for the American Cancer Society, and we're talking with former Titans player Derrick Mason. He's the co-chair of the Real Men Wear Pink. What does that mean you do? You wake up in the morning, are you dressed all in pink every day? What are you doing?
Well, I'm not dressed in pink every day, but I do.
It looks good on
you.
you.
I do have my pink ribbon, my pink bracelet on every day to represent Real Men Wear Pink. I'm telling you from my heart, like, this is why I'm doing it. I lost my mom to it. So this is why I have chosen to be a part of the Real Men Wear Pink campaign. And if they ask me again next year, I will do the same thing next year because I think my why is enough. I think my why is the whys of a lot of other people out there.
Exactly. Exactly. And as soon as you told me yours, I was like, well, I can relate because this person in my life. I can relate because of that person in my life. And that tends to be the reason why most of us have a why, is because of someone we love who has had to battle it or who we've lost.
Exactly.
And how it's left this hole in our lives. And we don't want to have to deal with that. We don't want to have to not let them enjoy living.
Exactly.
And enjoy those Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular, like if somebody wants to give to your campaign specifically, how do they do that, Derrick?
They can go to my Facebook page, Derrick Mason 85. They can go to my Instagram page, it's Derrick Mace 8585, or they can go to acsevents.org, and my page is on there. You can directly donate to it.
There'll be a lot of people giving like $1 today.
Hey, $1. Yeah, please give $1. If a million people give $1, then hey, we're there. We surpassed our goal.
Any word of encouragement that you want to give to other people who are trying to raise money, maybe on their own, maybe not even in the Real Men Wear Pink campaign, but thinking maybe I'll raise a little money. Maybe I'll go to the drive-by, and donate a little cash. Any encouragement?
My encouragement or my words to you would be figure out first why you're doing it. And the why might be there quickly. The why might be sitting next to you. The why, might be 2 houses down. The why might be a coworker, a friend. When you're raising money, to me, just be honest to people about why you're doing it. I think if you're honest with people about why you're doing it, and they can see it in you, then they're going to give. I think there are a lot of compassionate people and empathetic people in this world. Yeah. And if you approach them in that way, then they will, a lot of people give you the shirts off their backs if they needed to. So.
And all we're asked for is a little money.
Absolutely.
Derrick Mason, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Fabulous. So now we're going to play a little musical chairs. We switch to our second guest, Rashed Fakhruddin. He's the co-chair as well for the American Cancer Society's Real Men Wear Pink. So welcome. Thank you for coming in. We know what the Real Men Wear Pink program is, but kind of recap for those who've been listening from the start.
We have so many American Cancer Society chapters across the nation. And so every chapter tries to recruit so many men leaders, or just men in general, who are passionate about raising money and awareness towards, this fight towards breast cancer through awareness, research, and survivor support. And so Nashville has really picked it up, even though this has recently been, it's formulated several years ago, starting from West Nashville, as Derrick had shared. And so as this year they recruited co-chairs, and so I was very honored when they said I'd be working with Derrick Mason, and everything's been amazing. And by the way, I hope the Titans were 1 yard short of the goal 20 years ago of winning the Super Bowl, right? So this year, Derrick Mason is $1 away from reaching his goal. I did give a little contribution in the very beginning to his campaign, but I can do something about it. You can too, but I'll beat you to it.
Rashed wants to be the one to get in there. Yeah.
So, we, the more people that you talk with, they've been really getting on board. And as co-chairs, Derrick and I, we've doubled the number of people who participated last year. And the more participation, the more awareness, the more funds. And the interesting thing is that the people we talk to and who get on board, they just all have this shared passion. There's a goal of, helping women who are battling breast cancer. And we know 1 in 8 women are going to be detected with breast cancer in their lifetime.
They'll get that diagnosis and they'll hear those words.
That's a huge number, which means the probability that everyone around us has someone in their life, a loved one, that's impacted their lives. And so, or will. Yeah. And especially people who've had their loved ones, battle breast cancer, are like, let me do something. There's more that we can do about it. I love the group we have. Unfortunately, we can't meet in person like we used to. Like last year was my first year getting on board, when the American Cancer Society's former director had asked me if I'd like to be part of it. And this was in late September. We just met by chance. And I was like, I'm already involved with AMEND, YWCA and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I don't know if I can carry two loads in 1 month. But then I thought about my dear cousin, Tasneem. She had just battled breast cancer. Thank God she's a survivor. But in 2016, after being diagnosed, and she's like a mentor to me. She's older than me. She's an educator. She taught me a lot as a kid, so very dear to me. And so every year we would participate in these breast cancer walk. I'd help arrange that. I was like, that's the least I can do for my cousin. And last year I was like, maybe I can, stretch it a little further. This is my cousin who's just finished battling cancer. She went through chemo, radiation. Her energy level went down. Luckily, she was a survivor, but, it's just that recovery is awful. And I was like, let me do something just for her. And so I was like, I'll do it one time. And once I got on board, learned about the statistics and about like others who are, other stories I got to learn about and people who are, gravitating around this cause, I just fell in love with it. I was like, I'm going to do this every year. And then I get a call from Lindsay in May, like, can you chair it? I'm like, well, I don't want to take on more than I can do, but let me think about it. By the end of the conversation, I said, I'll do it, but get me a co-chair. And if you can, get me someone in the Titans organization or a country music fan, a star. A couple of months later, they sent me an email that said, we got good news for you. We got Derrick Mason.
We got a celeb.
And I was like so happy because I was a big fan of Derrick and still upset. Not upset, I was like sad we lost Derrick. And he had like so many, he's a Hall of Fame candidate this year. He won't talk about it, but so I'll talk about
Derrick.
it. He's like, he's above Michael Irvin in yards, overall yards in the NFL. He's not an honorary co-chair. He's doing work. So It's not like a celebrity, like, hey, we just have your name there. Both of us, we got we're grinding it down, and we've recruited a lot of more candidates. Jerry Stackhouse, Coach Stackhouse. And
so he's doing the Real Men Wear Pink.
Yeah, and with his, everyone has their level of influence in different areas. And Coach Stackhouse, I read his little bio, and I was like, let me be the first to donate to his campaign. Like, how can we pick each other up? I remember Derrick promoted my campaign like several weeks ago, Support Rashed. It's like, how can we help support each other? So a lot of friends who have got on board and like, let's just pitch in, pitch in whatever you can, 10, 20. If you want to do more, 100, 1,000, do it. But, do something for this cause. So I got really passionate about it. And now I'm here for the rest of, as long as I can live.
We love that.
And we want to get, the more the merrier. The more candidates you have, the more money you're going to raise, the more awareness. And it's a lot grassroots. American Cancer Society is awesome. And our new director, of course, Lindsay Langley. So I got to be friends we were Facebook friends for a while. And, but then over the last year, and just like Derrick, she's awesome. And so
you're kind of getting in front of that mic.
She's very awesome. And,
she's very driven and very motivated.
And the group we work with, Audrey, Debbie, so far, Peyton, and so forth, they have all the ingredients for success. And American Cancer Society, Hope Lodge and survivor support, everything American Cancer Society does, it's just very appealing to me.
We're talking about the Real Men Wear Pink program, part of the American Cancer Society's push to raise money for support and for research and looking for a cure. And we have one of the co-chairs from the American Cancer Society's Real Men Wear Pink, Rashed Fakhruddin, with us. So Rashed, tell people what some of the things that the American Cancer Society does. Let's kind of clarify. You said Hope Lodge, which is?
Yeah, that's for, families that have loved ones who are diagnosed with cancer. What do they do? Not everyone lives in Nashville who's diagnosed with any sort of cancer. It's not just breast cancer. Well, the American Cancer Society has this big building off of Charlotte where families that, they can't afford to rent a, hotel
room.
Stay in a hotel for 2-3 weeks. Granted, even a week, a day costs a lot in Nashville. So, they provide the accommodations, make it really welcoming and friendly. Anyone who has a chance, go visit and see what the American Cancer Society is doing. And that's part of survivor support that the American Cancer Society does. In addition, of course, everyone knows about the money that gets poured into research that's greatly needed. And the awareness component. I mean, being part of Real Men Wear Pink allowed me to now share with the same passion, the information that comes to me, to disseminate it to people in my circle and, through social media and so forth. So
things like the information, like 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer during her lifetime. And the fact that now, more than ever before, women are surviving a diagnosis.
Yes.
Before it was like a death sentence. It was just you have breast cancer, and we didn't have the treatments. We didn't have the new chemos, the new drugs, the new ways to even counteract the side effects of the drugs. Things are improving all the time in our fight against breast cancer. So that's the kind of information that the Cancer Society, American Cancer Society, is pushing out and spreading so people are more aware of it.
Oh, yeah. And especially early detection is
yes.
With COVID, a lot of people, not just breast cancer mammograms, but all types of screenings with your own colon screening, it's gone down. And even though now the hospitals have opened up and allow for screening, a lot of people are afraid to go. And they shouldn't be. They need. I mean, if any message to get out of this year's campaign, besides raising money, the awareness component is get your screening, because early detection can be the difference between life and death. And I think it's like a 94%, 93% survival rate when you do get detected early. And so with all that awareness and self-exams, it is so important. I mean, you don't want to be. No one wants to have to hit cancer at stage 3 or 4, especially 4 when it's, the survival rate is so low.
Okay, so what are you doing in particular to raise money? You got a couple of things going on.
Okay, so I started something. It's the inaugural fitness crawl to fight breast cancer. And last year, and I do a lot of fitness. I'm a member of Bar 3. It's helped me when I had a bad back, and then especially I had a freakish open heart surgery 2.5 years ago due to a bacteria infection.
Wow. And
so my cardio rehab was Bar 3, and it combines strength conditioning, cardio, and mindfulness. It's a lot of cardio.
And exercise. And being and eating well and not being overweight are all things that can help fight breast cancer.
It's a preventive measure for breast cancer, any type of cancer, and health, COVID, whatever it is. The more the healthier habits we have, both on diet and exercise. Some people think I got to exercise to look like this or that. No, you can do that for whatever reason. For health and for preventive diseases, it is so important to get a regimen in one's lifestyle. So in one's daily routine. So what I thought about, being tied to a lot of the fitness community, and I have a good friend who's the owner of Nashville Fit Magazine, Ryan Freebing. I met up with him, and I was like, with COVID, a lot of the fitness studios have been suffering, and especially with the regulations.
Oh, yeah.
I have 3 friends who had to close, 1 permanently, and 2 went to online. And they were all but coincidentally Lululemon ambassadors. I had 12 friends who are owners of fitness studios. Let me get with them and ask them if they'd be interested, because some of them supported my campaign last year. And without any exception, I mean, they all jumped on it. And then I told them, hey, I'm also wanting, besides breast cancer awareness, I want to bring awareness to the fitness and fitness community. So it's a two-way streak. It's like, through this crawl, people will know more about your fitness studios and will think about, taking a class. Maybe they'll get it hooked onto it, become a member, or buy a package, and also stay healthy.
And it'll take that stigma away from it. I don't know what it's like. They get to check it out.
Oh, yeah. And these had 12 studios, and if I can mention them, We have 5 yoga studios, including Liberation Yoga, Bend and Zen Yoga, Shakti Yoga, and then Liberation, and
You said Liberation.
and New Power Yoga, and Yoga Mutts.
Okay.
And all of these are different types. There are 2 virtual classes that are being offered, and any donation, all donations go towards Real Men Wear Pink
Good.
campaign. So it's benefiting breast cancer. Then we have 2 Bar 3 studios in Nashville and in Brentwood, and then they have a Pink in the Park event, Bar 3 Nashville, on October 25th in Centennial Park.
Good.
On the 25th. And then we have 3 Cycle Bar studios, and they just had their first one. They raised over $500 to
Nice.
the ride. And then we have 2 Pilates studios, Marathon Pilates and Melioria Pilates, and we have 4 Orange 3 Fitness studios, Brentwood, Melrose, Midtown, and Green Hills. The owner's my classmate and friend, so she did that. I hope I covered all of them, but
How many places involved in the fitness crawl?
so there are 12 owners, 17 studios.
Do I have to go to all of those?
Oh, no, you pay, you choose which one you want to go. You can go to all. Sunday the 25th, we have 3 back-to-back-to-back events. It's almost like a bar crawl. You go from Cycle Bar, which the Olympia, the instructor, she's going to match everyone who reserves a spot or
Okay.
pays a spot. That's 25 or 6 spots.
Okay.
Then we have Bar 3 Brentwood, and then we have Pink in the Park with Bar 3 Nashville. So we should be as healthy as ever during the month of October.
Okay. He goes, it's almost like a bar crawl, except no alcohol. And you're going to exercise a lot. Derrick Mason could do that, maybe. But you can pick, and we can get all the information about the
Yes.
specific events.
Right.
Where at your page?
Yeah. If one wants to find me on Rashed_daddy, that's my
What
kids.
is it?
Rashed_daddy.
Underscore
That's on
daddy.
Under Instagram.
Okay.
My kids set it up. Or they can go actually to the main page on www.realmenwearpinkacs.org and then /Nashville TN, and that'll give all the candidates. So I don't want to hog the spotlight.
Okay.
You can go to Derrick's page there. 61 candidates.
So
and then
realmenwearpink.org?
Real Men Wear Pink ACS.
ACS.org. And then you go to the
Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
But for me, my specific page can be found there as through there, my link, as well as Derrick's, Jerry's, Coach Stackhouse, and any one of the 61 candidates. You can support, but the fitness crawl is also posted there.
Okay,
as
good.
well as the schedule, as well as posted on my specific page and Instagram and Facebook, Rashed Fakhruddin.
Perfect. Any final thoughts to other guys who are maybe considering coming on board?
Yeah, do it. Last year I was afraid. I asked the director, "What if I don't raise $2,500?" I was so afraid, but it's been so easy. I've never. It
Good.
takes a lot of energy on our part, but people will donate, and we're not saying donate 1,500. My aunt did donate a lot. She donated 200, and yesterday I visited her, and she said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't donate more." She just retired. I said, "You donate 200, that's a lot." And so, $10, $5, whatever one can do, but don't leave an ask without giving. This is for a great cause. We can save lives. This is important. I do have another event that I'm working on, which is a 3-point shootout. So I'm going to challenge everyone to go around the world. COVID, we can't travel as much, but you can play around the world and travel around the world by shooting threes. And so every shot, I haven't decided yet, you miss, you'll donate it. $5 to my campaign.
Yeah.
So
that's in the works, though.
That's in the works.
Okay. So main thing is to find out the events, because you have things ongoing. You have things ongoing, Rashed. So to find out what events he has coming up, you need to kind of keep going back to his page.
Yes. And
Okay.
the main page, you can see others. Coach Stackhouse, they're going to do something with the
Okay.
basketball team.
Okay, good.
Everyone has these different campaigns. There's
And their specific way of raising money.
you have to be
Derrick, what
creative.
is yours? You just walk up and just tell your story, or do you strong arm a little bit, or he leaves the strong arming till last? He said. Derrick Mason walks up and tells you he wants some money. Rashed, thank you very much for what you do. If you think of anything else that we didn't have time to cover today, send it to me. We'll post it along with our story on the Focus Facebook page.
Okay.
Thank you,
Anna Marie.
Rashed Fakhruddin, the co-chair of the American Cancer Society's Real Men Wear Pink campaign. And thanks also to Derrick Mason for joining us today. Thank you, guys. We'll put all the information on our Focus Facebook page along with lots of links and lots of info if you want to find out more about the American Cancer Society or about the Real Men Wear Pink program, or if you just want to reach out and see what's available. Thank you. Make sure you join us again next week. I'm Anna Marie, and that's Focus.